today. So if you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please just type them into the questions box on your screen. We will be sure to get to those at the end. So with that being said, I'm going to kick it over to Paul Craver, who is one of our senior safety consultants at P3 Propane Safety.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our virtual webinar, or our webinar on virtual safety meetings. As Emma said, I'm senior consultant training and safety here at P3. Got about 25 years now in the industry, doing just about everything you can imagine, from driving trucks to service work to district manager, safety director, the whole 9 yards. In today's discussion, I'm joined by Jeff Robertson. He's the Chief Operating Officer for Gibson Oil and Gas. Been there, how long have you been there, Jeff? What, 6 months?
I think I've been here about as many weeks as you've been years in the industry, Paul. So I've been, just started back in May.
So cool. Reason I asked Jeff to join us for today, because we've got this kind of new product that we actually kind of developed as our relationship with Gibson Oil and Gas started, where as you probably, most of you know, we do offer monthly safety meetings, but they kind of had a need at the time where they really didn't have anybody on staff that was, I don't know if the word qualified, or would step up to the plate. I'm not sure what it is, but they really needed someone to deliver the monthly safety meetings, someone with some experience, someone that could answer questions, someone could pose questions, and so forth. So we kind of started doing that, I don't know, probably well over a year and a half ago. And it's kind of worked out to the point where we're starting to offer that to our other customers who get safety meetings from us. As you know, they come right into your inbox, and then with the virtual ones, me and Jeff, we just kind of get together, we set up a plan, and we schedule usually a Friday morning when I'm in the office to have a safety meeting with the team. So let's kind of talk about some benefits, Jeff. What do you see as far as benefits that go along with these safety meetings?
Yeah, so I think there's a variety of benefits. I mean, for me, one of the first ones, Paul, is I've picked up on this program pretty quickly. Like I said, I've only been here for, since the end of May, but this is already a routine for our guys. And so for me, I've kind of picked up the rhythm, the cycle, and this is part of just the way we do operations. So I think one of the first things, it creates a rhythm for us. And I want to go back and touch on something you said earlier. Yeah, I think the reason, I wasn't here when it started, but I think the reason that we did this is, we're a small company. We got 3 drivers, we got 3 service techs, got a couple people in the office, customer service reps, and we try to keep these guys busy. It's trying to be efficient. We're trying to maximize revenue, and the way to do that is we take some of these in the Coast Guard, we call them collateral duties. A lot of these jobs like safety and training and those kind of things were additional duties, and it takes additional time from our guys. We do have one person, Charles is our safety person, but to do the right thing and to give the right kind of training, you need to spend the time and energy and be able to tap into somebody with experience like yours, Paul. Literally, you come in as the gray beard, no pun intended. You come in as a gray beard to my young guys, and they say, Paul, what about this? Paul, what about this? So I think the big thing that it does, it kind of gives us some standing. We actually have a safety protocol and a program running. Another thing it does for us, and you may get into this later, but we're documenting all of this training we do. You provide us the material, you email it to us, we sit down and we go through all the material as we're on the video with you. We take the little test and we stick it in a binder because it's there for inspection. Somebody wants to come check, see how we're doing when it comes that time to audit. I couldn't recreate that. There's just no way we could do that on our own without a whole lot of extra work. So I mean, there's just a couple of benefits I see, Paul.
Another one that I feel is a benefit. I've been working with Gibson now for well over 2 years, and throughout these safety meetings and a trip or two that I've made down there with your team, I feel like I'm part of the team. So when I'm joining you guys once a month for that, we have a relationship. I know to ask like Josh, how's the baby? Or, sorry to hear about your mom, things like that. And they really trust me, and they'll reach out when they have issues, short little questions. It's just kind of like you said, having a safety guy without having a safety guy that's got that long gray beard.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think the other thing, Paul, we've done this. I've sent you emails. I'll just zap you notes periodically and say, what about this? We need to do something like this. We had a project a couple months ago, right after I first got here. We need some additional training. We reached out to you, and you pointed us in the right direction. So yeah, when things come up, we talk about safety in our regular meetings during the week, but your name always comes up by saying, well, what would Paul say about this? What would Paul do? No, but let me ask Paul. Let's send Paul a note. So yeah, you've become part of our team, even though there's a big difference between North Carolina and Massachusetts. So.
Wow. Yeah, there's no doubt, big difference between the different areas that I cover. So yeah, I find that the relationships are important, and I don't know about them, but I look forward to them every month, getting together for that half hour, 45 minutes that we do. And what's kind of nice about these, as we develop them, and we get to know your team, we're able to kind of go off script a little bit from the safety meetings, and kind of find out, what I like to do is find out what kind of what safety incidents, what close calls did you have this month, so that we can kind of, open up that discussion, and hopefully, teammates sometimes learn better from other teammates. So if one person makes a mistake and has a close call and wants to talk about, how they could have done something differently, it may impact the safety or future of one of their teammates.
Yep.
So that's, I've been doing safety meetings for a long time. I remember the first time was back in 2008 when I was getting promoted to be a district manager. My current manager goes, well, you're gonna have to start doing these. So here's the safety meeting, you get to lead it. And it was actually difficult. I felt like I was just reading off of a script, and not everybody is geared towards that type of presenting. I know at the time I wasn't. And that's another benefit to having someone like myself or Brett or John, one of my my teammates here at P3, deliver this, is we've got that experience. We've done hundreds, if not thousands, of safety meetings over time, and we got a lot of experience dealing with. And honestly, I think, Jeff, I've heard just about every question imaginable, so I pretty much know the answers of the questions they're gonna ask. One other thing that is kind of a benefit is sometimes you're going to get some technical safety meetings, things that really require someone with some experience to deliver, whether it be, for example, leak checks. That's an important aspect of our business, and you want someone with a certain degree of expertise to deliver leak checks, cylinder requalifications, hours of service, just a few off the top of my head, where you really want to know what you're talking about when you're talking to the team.
Yeah. Recently, we just had I think it was a requalification training we had with you, and even some of our guys that have been here 6-8 years, they're still asking questions, and they're not afraid to kind of pop their head up and say, Paul, this is what we do. Does this make sense? Is this the right thing? They've got the relationship with you because they've come to know you, that they're not afraid to bring it up. Maybe they won't bring it up to me, but they definitely won't have a problem bringing it up to you or bringing it up to Walt. So you're right. Relationship is big, even though you wouldn't think about it from a virtual meeting. You develop relationships.
Oh, absolutely. These are flexible too, right? I know we've pretty much got a routine down. We do the last Friday of every month, 8 a.m. So everybody kind of knows what to expect, unless, well, next week I'll be out of the country, but so we're doing it this Friday.
You give us flexibility, and we adjust them. We move the dates. So yeah,
that's worked out pretty good. Geez, I don't know that I have too much more to say. I don't know. Do you have anything more to add, Jeff?
No, I just one of the things that's really pleased me was coming from I spent a career in the Coast Guard. And one of the things that was a big part of my professional life was safety. And so one of the things I've appreciated is how you guys, kind of normalize this for an organization. You kind of allow us to make safety front and center for our people. And it's just, you know, it's made my job easier. It's helped me understand the industry a lot quicker. I'm still drinking from the fire hose, but that's okay. But at least in the safety lane, you guys have really helped me transition, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome, and I'm just glad we can help. That's, you know, kind of like my mission in life right now is, ever since I joined the safety side, was to make sure that everybody goes home, you know, safe and in the same condition as they left for work, because I wasn't brought up that way, you know, and I'm lucky to have all my fingers and toes and my eyes and things like that. So I like to make sure that everybody else does get that kind of education. Emma, do we have any questions?
Yeah, so it looks like we have one. So what are some of the topic examples?
Oh boy. So I rattled off a couple, you know, like leak check and hours of service, cylinder requalification to start with, but it could be anything from distracted driving to carbon monoxide testing. It could be, I mean, the list is a lot. There's a lot there. One thing I can say is like the cylinder requalification, we're doing that now in like a 3-year rotation so that it'll qualify for your DOT cylinder requalification refresher training. We do annually, we'll do fire extinguisher training, so that meets our OSHA requirements for that. But yeah, the list is very extensive of the different topics that we do.
Awesome. And then it looks like another one. So what is the cost associated with this service?
Oh, I probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
So our monthly safety meetings themselves, which are, you know, like we call the easy button, they get delivered. We produce them. We deliver them right to your inbox. As Jeff said, you got the presentation, you got the, you know, the topic, you got the sign-in sheet, you got the quizzes. You know, it's designed where you could put it in a binder, you know, maybe sorted by month. That's $150 a month. And then to have someone like myself meet with your team, you know, once a month to deliver the information and be there to ask questions and be, you know, subject matter experts while the meeting is being given is also $150 a month.
Well, one thing to mention there too, Paul, is this training. There is a, you know, you have an agenda. You put that out. This stuff is scheduled out for several months, so we kind of are prepared for this. And kind of answers that question. We're prepared for what's coming up, and we're allowed, you know, we can stick stuff in, and we'll say, hey, Paul, let's include this next month. And so, you know, you're flexible in doing that, but yet and still there is a rhythm and a, you know, an organization to the topics that are done every month.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. That was, we did alter things up a little bit. I think we actually went back and redid an additional safety meeting one month on a topic where I think the team might have been a little fuzzy from the first time, and we really wanted to kind of drive that information home.
Right, and we were doing a lot of requalifications. We were doing a lot of small cylinder checks because we don't do a lot of, you know, little small canister fills, but we needed that training. That was one of the first ones that I actually sat through, I think.
Yep. Are there any other questions, Emma?
Yeah, it looks like we have another one. So what if you have a multi-site locations?
Oh, that's easy. Well, we would do it via Teams typically. And so if you could have, I don't know, dozens of locations sit in, that's not a problem. Actually, I've done webinars and trainings for sometimes as many as 1,000 people on the thing, and we were able to pull that off. Yeah.
Just let me add to that, Emma. What we do here internally is, and you can figure out your own technology, but we use a thing called an owl. It's a meeting owl. It's a single little pod. The camera moves around and picks up the sounds. It makes it really easy for us sitting around one table, you know, an 8-foot table, and we're sitting there with Paul, and we all can get involved and engaged. So, you know, technology is kind of important. You don't necessarily want everybody sitting around where you can't see Paul or Paul can't see us. So Teams has been very easy for that, but technology is kind of important.
I gotta say, I really like the owl because you have quite a few people in that room, and sometimes, I don't know, Martin might be off to the side, off the screen, and he'll be talking, but now with that owl, it actually kind of pans over to him, and I can have that conversation face to face with him. It's really cool.
I'm not advocating or making any money off the sale of the owl, but the point is, there's a lot of new technology out there. AI is changing things, so there's some new cameras popping up all the time that will do this. Owl is just one example.
Totally. Yeah, that's awesome. So it does look like those are all of our questions. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add before we let everybody.
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody for joining today. Looked like we had quite a few interested in what we have to talk about. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email is, let's see, it's Paul_Craver at P3propanesafety.com. Or feel free to call me at 207-651-1716.
Well, great. Well, that should wrap everything up for today. Thank you, Paul and Jeff, for setting some time aside today to join the webinar. And any questions that we didn't get to today, of course, we'll follow up with you guys after. But thank you, everybody, so much for your time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks, everybody.
See you Friday.